All right, in this little video, I want to talk a little bit about root folders and index pages. And so the first thing is a root folder. Anytime you create a web page or a website, I want you to create a root folder. And I want you to think of a root folder as your suitcase that you pack when you go on a trip. So right now during COVID, my 7-year-old daughter, she watches a YouTube family, which I guess is a big thing these days. And her YouTube family lives in Australia. And she has decided that when COVID is over and we're allowed to travel, we are going to pack our bags and we're going to Australia. So when you go on a trip like that, you need to make sure that every single thing you want when you get to your destination is in your bag. The same thing goes for a root folder and a website. So when you create a website, you want to make sure that you create a root folder and everything goes in it. So if you're going to add a document to your website, you put it in the root folder. If you are going to put pictures on your website, you put it in the root folder. If you have some video content or multimedia content you want on your website, it needs to go in the root folder. So a root folder, all it is essentially is your bag that you pack when you go on a trip. And if you don't have your things in your bag, they're not going to show up when you get to your destination. The same thing goes for your websites. So in order to create a root folder, you're going to create a folder anywhere you want to put it. So if you have a desktop you're working off, if you're on the school computer, I don't really want you to put your root folder there. I'd like you to put it on a thumb drive or an external hard drive. So what I'm going to do is I'm on my desktop. I'm just going to right click on my desktop and I'm going to make a new folder, and it's going to be called About Me. Now notice when I created that root folder that it's all lowercase with no spaces. And that's because when you name files for the web, you need to make sure you do not have spaces and you do not have capital letters. So when you guys go to do your homework assignment this week, you want to make sure you have a folder, all lowercase, no spaces, with the words About Me. Once you create your root folder, you're then ready to pack your bags and put everything inside of it. So let's go ahead and talk about now how we start and create an index page. So I'm going to open up Dreamweaver, and like I said, depending on what web editor you choose, you're going to open up that editor. So I'm going to open up Dreamweaver. And I'm going to go to File and I'm going to choose New. And no matter what you're using, there will be a way for you to create a new HTML document. So I'm going to create that document, and you'll see in Dreamweaver, it already generates some code for me, which is great. So it's given me sort of the basic structure for my website, which we're going to talk about. Now, with this, before I even get started with my HTML code, what I want you guys to do is I want you to make sure you go to File and you choose Save. Now, where are we going to save this file? We're going to save it in that root folder. So I'm going to go to my desktop and I'm going to find that About Me folder, and we need to make sure we save it with a name. Now, you already went through all of the different naming files for the web exercises, so you understand how to name a file, but you also need to understand that every single website that you go to has a home page. And that home page automatically pops up when you go to your URL. So if I go to, say, google.com, there is a home page that pops up and it has the Google search window, and it it always shows up. So that page is called index.html. So if you name your home page index.html, that is the page that will show up first when the user goes to your website address. So you need to make sure that for your homework assignment, you save your file index.html. That's index.html. I'm going to go ahead and press save. And so now I have successfully saved my folder, my file in my folder. So I can go back to my About Me and I can look, and now I have this index.html file. One thing to note, that if I double click on it, it does not open back up in Dreamweaver or Coffee Cup or Notepad++. it opens up in Google Chrome, which is my default web browser. And right now, this website does not have anything on it. It is completely blank because I haven't put anything in my HTML document yet other than just the template. So if I want to go back and I want to open it up, instead of double clicking on it, I can right click on it and say open with, and I can choose Dreamweaver, or I can go to Dreamweaver and I'll just close it up for now. And I can say file, open, and I can open up my index page. So that's a common mistake when people first learn how to do web design, is they try to open up their file by double clicking on it. And when you double click on any HTML file, it automatically opens up in a web browser window. So in order to open it up in an editor and make changes to the code, you either right click on it or you go into your web editor software and you choose file open and you search for the file. Now, a couple other things with our root folders and our index pages is that we only have one index page for the whole website. So you only name the first page that you have showing up index. And then also you want to make sure that your root folder goes with you everywhere. So that's why I'm saying if you're using somebody else's computer or a computer that's random, like in a lab, you want to make sure you have a thumb drive or a little USB drive that you can save your root folder on, and that way you can take it anywhere you want to go. So hopefully in this short video, you've learned how to open up your web editor, create a root folder, and also save a home page or an index.html page into your root folder.